Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to Sidewalks Entertainment. I'm your host, Lori Rosales. So today's guest, she is so fantastic. You may have seen her in films like Braven or Splinter, or seen her in the show Teen Wolf. And in another series, she stars alongside Zoe Saldaña and Nicole Kidman in the American thriller spy series Lioness. That's right, Jill Wagner will be joining us right here on Sidewalks Entertainment. So you don't want to miss out. Stick around, relax, because you're watching Sidewalks Entertainment. I'd like to welcome Jill Wagner to Sidewalks Entertainment. Hi, Jill. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So you have been in so many TV shows and films. Let's talk about how your career began. How did you start your career as a professional actor?
Oh gosh, that was back in my early 20s. I left North Carolina and went out to LA, and I think my first acting job was on a show called Punked with Ashton Kutcher. I was a female sketch performer, and I didn't really know.
Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so much fun. And I was thinking about going back to North Carolina before that. And then after I got a taste of how fun it was, and I hate to say that because it seems so immature, but it was all about, for me at that point in my life, I was like, I just want to have fun. And I was like, I can get paid for this. This is awesome. And that's kind of how it started. And then I've been really all over the map with my career. I've hosted, I've acted, I've done sci-fi, I've done, thriller, I've done, family friendly, and now this military genre is a whole different thing for me.
So at the beginning of your career as an actor, who was the first big star that you worked with that might have had you maybe a little bit starstruck?
The first, I actually, I thought about this when we cast Zoe, and I was like, gosh, the first star that I actually met was Zoe. We were doing a table read. It was for she did a movie with, oddly, with Ashton Kutcher, and it was called like Meet the Parents or something like that. And
Yeah.
I had a small little like nothing role. I think it was like, I don't know, half a line or something. It was so nothing. And I was sitting at the table read, and I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't belong in this room. I'm so nervous. And then she walked in, and I remember thinking, just like, don't look at her in the eye, like, just, and she's probably not going to say anything to you anyway. And she walked around that room and shook everyone's hand, and in particular my hand. And she was like, so nice to meet you. And I thought to myself, like, what a nice woman. And I didn't expect that from her, because she was she was a pretty, for me, she was a pretty big star. And I just remember thinking that's how I want to be. And she set the bar really high for me. And I was a bit, I don't know that I ever get starstruck, but I just remember thinking I really had a ton of respect for her. And what an honor it has been, like full circle, to have her play on a show that that my husband and I kind of like, I won't say we created it, because I mean Taylor Sheridan and his words actually create it, but we did, we brought the idea to Taylor, and sat down with him and came up with kind of a bit of the world.
So, as you mentioned, you work with Zoe Saldaña in the American spy thriller series Lioness. Your character is Bobby. Tell me more about the series, and what do you enjoy most about playing your character Bobby and working on this show?
Well, I enjoy playing Bobby because she's so different than anybody that I've ever played. And I think she's really important in the world of Lioness, because to me, she represents a lot of women that I have met that are in the military. That's kind of how I modeled the whole role. I just did my research. I talked to women. I watched interviews. I wanted to embody, I didn't want to do a caricature of what I thought a female soldier was. I wanted to base it off of real women that I had met. And that is kind of who Bobby is. And obviously I'm bringing a little bit of Jill in there, but I really wanted to do justice to the women that really are, that the true heroes in this
Absolutely.
world.
And you're fantastic in this series, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
So not only are you part of the cast, but you're also an executive producer of Lioness. So what has your experience been like working not only as a cast member, but also as an executive producer for this show?
Yeah, I think wearing two hats is been really interesting for me because Lioness is such a big show. I've never been a part of a show that has quite the gravitas and budget as this one does. So, to be in those rooms and hear those conversations and to be a part of that whole world is like I learn new things in acting, and I'm also learning new things in producing. And Taylor's been so gracious as to really teach me in all fronts. He was my acting coach, teaching me in acting. He's teaching me in producing. I just am very lucky, but also it gives me, as the actor, it gives me a little bit more grace in some of those moments where I think that as an actor, we don't really understand what's going on, or we can get annoyed by the timing of things and this and that isn't going right. When you're a producer and you know how hard it is to get any of that stuff to come together at all, you have, like I said, you have a little bit more grace for the process.
Absolutely. So, one last question before we run out of time, and this is kind of a question for your fans. Apart from your work on Lioness, many of us also are familiar with your work in some of their favorite Hallmark movies. Of the Hallmark movies or projects that you've been in, which is your personal favorite?
Oh gosh. I've done a lot of the family friendly movies. All that came about because my grandmother, love her soul. I asked her what I hadn't done in my career. What did she want me to do? And she was like, well, I just want you to be in one of those family friendly movies because they're so decent. And I said, okay, grandma. And so that was
Oh
how
my
my career
goodness.
in that genre started. And I continue to do them in her honor. But I will say, gosh, I don't know. I guess Autumn Dreams was, I guess I don't know that I have a favorite because there's so many great things about each one of them and the actors that you're with. And, I loved Mystery 101. I love Autumn Dreams. I have one coming up that's really special. It's called Christmas Under the Northern Lights, and it's for Great American Family.
Oh, that's great
Yeah,
news.
no, it's going to be
I was
really
actually
good.
going to ask you that too, so thank you for giving us the info.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one, I promise. But I think just the beginning of that was with Autumn Dreams, and I just feel like it was so special to me because it was my first one, and yeah, I just have those feelings, and I was so young when I did it, and to go back and watch that, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a time capsule. It's a beautiful thing about being an actor. You really have this documented passage of time on film, and it's crazy for me to go back and watch some of that stuff.
Oh, I love that. Well, Jill, you are so fantastic. It really was such a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much.
It's nice to see you too, or nice to talk to you.
Everyone, you can watch more of Jill Wagner in the American thriller spy series Lioness on Paramount Plus. Jill, you take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit us at sidewalkstv.com, our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on social media.